his robot arm should have been there because his metal wasn't like living.
They didn't think that through. There was a conspiracy theory that they didn't. I mean, the guy who wrote it up. I don't know if he's even
Rian
Star Wars
Johnson.
fan. Yeah, like J.J. Abrams, you could tell like Star Wars.
And that you noticed right off the bat within the first like 5 minutes of it. I was like, this isn't as good as J.J. Abrams. Like the picture quality looked cheesier.
And J.J. took you to more very worlds. Apparently, Rian Johnson, whatever his name is, used a ton of sets, but it doesn't really feel like it because it feels like it's just the starboard set on Holdo's ship.
They're too bright.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
And they're too clean looking because The Force Awakens, like the sets were like, the places looked dirty and they looked old because they're in a lot of old places.
Yeah.
And it's like this one should have felt like that too because the places they're at. And then like, just like the commanders of the ships and stuff, it's like it seemed like somehow they're doing better militarily, but their commanders seem dumber, and like what they're saying, like their dialogue was just kind of stupid.
Yeah.
I liked Benicio del Toro's character, and like how he's just like, fuck both sides, they both suck.
Yeah, he was like a character you find in Knights of the Old Republic, and I will just say that fucking Knights of the Old Republic 2, even though it was unfinished, did take Star Wars in a new direction and did it in a very good way. So again, that's another problem I have with the critics.
That's my favorite one.
I don't want to sound like I hate The Last Jedi, but I do kind of think that it could be like the worst like put together Star Wars film. I mean, I don't like Star Wars 2 at all. Clone Wars, I think that one's kind of cheesy, but George Lucas seemed like he knew, like had a.
They should redo that one.
Yeah.
I think they should redo it, but they should still have Ewan McGregor play Obi-Wan.
Yeah, he's actually good as Obi-Wan in the second and third one. The first one he didn't need it. I mean, I know why he was there, but I mean, the first one they didn't give anybody anything to work with.
He didn't really have like. I don't know. There's books about that too, and Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon didn't get along, and the side stories of that.
I can see that because Liam Neeson is sort of. If you don't pay attention to his demeanor, just his actions, it's prick actions the entire time. Like he buys Anakin, but not his mom. He just leaves his mom behind as a slave and shit.
He's resourceful.
he's like renegade, like not renegade, but renegade shepherd, like fucking.
He's kind of more like he's like a neutral Jedi where he's not like fully good or on one side. He like sees both aspects. He's like Dooku, like what Dooku was saying. He's like, Qui-Gon would be here. It's like he totally would have been.
Yeah. It's just shit.
I think Jango Fett could have been done better too. They could have had someone, not like a different actor, but like.
It's just a lot of dialogue is bad because I mean I've seen Hayden Christensen and a couple other things. He's fine. He's not the greatest actor, but he's not the worst actor.
He's not that bad.
Yeah.
His lines are just terrible. Her lines, you could tell she was just uncomfortable doing the movie.
I mean, she was really good in a few movies, and she was. And at first, I don't even know why she's in the first movie. The first movie is so weird. That's probably its major failure is that it's a weird film. I mean, I can't hate it, but I don't ever like. I never get the feeling, hey, I want to go out, sit down, and watch a Phantom Menace. That never crosses my mind.
I totally do that. It's totally awesome. Still, we watched it, and it's like, whoa, I like this one. And Darth Maul is like better. It's like at first I didn't really like him so much, and then I didn't like how they brought him back, but he does die, and it's awesome how he does die. And like Rebels is okay on and off. And I've watched a bunch of episodes on there. They ruin the Death Troopers because they speak English, and they take away their like allurative awesomeness because the main characters just kick ass too much. And it's like,
do you get the feeling that they're not like, because they seem to be taking stuff from the EU, and they got Zahn back, who wrote a lot of the EU stuff. Do you just get the feeling that Disney, like all the people are throwing at them, are not communicating with each other on what Star Wars canon is? Because, I mean, Last Jedi is probably the worst in that aspect, but even then, like, Thrawn feels like it was written, like, before the new series, like, so it feels right. But, like, Force Awakens, it felt right. Rogue One felt right, but then you get into, like, Rebels and Last Jedi again. It just feels like
I've watched a lot of scenes with Thrawn from Rebels, and it's supposed to tie into Timothy Zahn's book, but it's like the Thrawn in Rebels is not the same one. Like, he's ruthless and evil. It's not like he doesn't have that. Thrawn in the original trilogy, like, his character wasn't evil. He was efficient.
Yeah.
He was ruthless and not like a twisted, like, I want to take over the world kind of way. It's like, we have shit to do. We need to get the Empire back into its power, and he's trying to push their people into their like glory again. But he was efficient. He didn't murder people for no reason. There's a scene where he kills one of the workers at a factory. Like, he's like, these bikes are being sabotaged. Sit on the bike, and he makes the guy who sabotaged it sit on it, and then it explodes and kills him. It's like Thrawn wouldn't do that kind of shit.
the closest thing I can remember to that is when he was proving a point in the first book, right, with the one guy who failed the tractor beam, I believe it was. That was the only time in like the 4 books I've read with him in it that it was like that.
And he didn't make him suffer. He just like killed him instantly and just like shot him dead. And he's just like, kill him.
Yeah, now it's just, again, to prove that was sort of like, what was it, debilitation, like the Roman tactics? That's just what that was, except and he never did that again, because he just proved that he was in power, and better watch yourself, because a couple other guys fucked up in the thing, but there's a reason behind it, and he accepts it.
That guy, too, was forced into the Imperial Navy, too. He wasn't signed up, and he wasn't like serving because he wanted to. He was conscripted. And he's like, you were conscripted, correct? And he's like, yeah, well. And he's like, so you don't care about your job or your position advancing. And then he caught the guy like in that and like proving him that that's why he failed, because he didn't really care. But he didn't think he'd get like called out immediately. And then he executes him. He's like, well, this man's not loyal to us. And it's like, holy shit. And it's like, you promotion. Work on that shit. You have incentive. It's like the new Thrawn just kind of ruthless. And it's like, yes, we took this guy from the expanded universe. We didn't read the books and see who he was, but he was a bad guy that was really good with tactics.
I mean, he was an antagonist, sure, but I mean, if you could also call him the sort of protagonist of the trilogy, right?
Sabath
was
was
more the evil, like the villain.
He's the bad guy.
Yeah.
Thrawn was just trying to keep him controllable so he could use his Jedi abilities to make a couple victories, and he had a certain number of them in mind that he had to get done for sure, but he needed Sabath to stay there for sure. And his misjudgment is when he underestimated Sabath's insanity and like cleverness. He's like, there's no way he can be clever, he's too insane for that shit. But Sabath like undermined him with setting up the bombs around Mount Tantus and taking control. And he's like, what the fuck?
I mean, and the climax of that trilogy is Luke going to fight Sabath, not Thrawn. And really, Thrawn's really only seen as the villain in it because you're supposed to root for the...
And he's the Grand Admiral of the Imperial Fleet.
Yeah,
and they're just like, oh shit, the Empire's gonna come back.
Yeah, those are the villains of the original trilogy, but he's not written like the villain because, I mean, it's only because most of the book is written from Paleon's perspective, well, their first couple, and he's, in a way, I was rooting for Thrawn the whole time because the rebel, well, I don't want to call them the rebels anymore, the Republic is such a fucking mess.
And they couldn't hold on to all their things. No. They couldn't keep all the different aliens under control.
And that's what's fucking weird, in that Rogue One has elements of that, and then Last Jedi doesn't.
I think it's just like Rian Johnson, he
wrote and directed.
Yeah, I think he just didn't really, he's not like into it enough or doesn't see it in the same way, and it's like, he's doing it more just like, oh, I get honored with being in control of Star Wars, and it's like, but he didn't really know any of the lore or history or like the fan base. He wasn't like,
I mean,
it's like he can't read any of the fucking books at all. There's like 100 books out there, and not all of them line up like the best way, and like some of them are weird, but it's like they all more or less, they borrow characters and ideas, and they reference each other to try to make themselves fit together.
Yeah.
So like, even the Young Jedi Academy, where Luke ends up training the twins, which are Han and Leia's kids, Jason and Jaina. It's like their story is cool, and then was it Chewbacca's nephew is a Jedi training there too, but it's like Kylo Ren is the same kind of character as Jason, except Kylo Ren's like evil now too.
Yeah.
Like in The Last Jedi, it's like, oh, he's gonna kind of change. Jason turned to the dark side, but it was more in a way because he was prepping for something else. He's just like, this isn't working. The galaxy needs fear to make people strong to stand up to the dangers that attack us. And it took place after the war with those organic guys.
Yeah.
And he saw his wife brutally murdered in that, I think. And just like, they did horrible shit to people. They'd like graft off parts of the people they killed and put them onto them and like take their organs. They're like creepy as shit. But that drove him to go to the dark side, and he had an agenda, and is more complex. Like, and he kills Mara Jade.
Yeah, I did. I heard about that.
But he feels bad for it, and he regrets it. But he had to because she would have told that he was on the dark side, and he wouldn't have been able to complete his objectives, which he. I don't even know what happens.
Isn't you bring up Mara Jade and that, but that's, you know,
and her character too is awesome.
Doesn't that make, like, I really feel like The Force Awakens, I liked it, but I really feel like now after The Last Jedi that these movies should have taken place far in the future, because doesn't it sort of make it look like Luke Skywalker, Leia, and the Republic, I mean, in just a short amount of time have been completely destroyed? Doesn't that sort of like kind of devalue the entire original trilogy, like all they went through, and just like Luke just dies, right? he just fucking dies.
I was reading more into that, and supposedly when Starkiller Base fires off all those rounds, they just took out the New Republic capital and their like main fleet.
Oh,
it wasn't their entire fleet. But they're so spread out throughout the galaxy, it's kind of like the second Thrawn trilogy, where they have those documents that come out, and the New Republic's too spread out to deal with all the different nations coming in, and they can't even like come in to go up against the alliance of all the alien ships who are building up at the Bothan's homeworld. And they're like, so like in the new trilogy, it's kind of the same thing. But they took out their leaders, and the capital of the galaxy changes every certain number of years, so everyone in the galaxy has a chance to be in the core world section, instead of like the Empire, where it's Coruscant, and those worlds around it were the only ones that got like the main focus. They wanted to like transfer around so the government could see all the different areas.
So was it Coruscant that was destroyed then, and The Force Awakens? Well, what planet was it?
No, it was a couple. I think it was 5 planets, but they list them off, and they're all planets that I'm not familiar with.
Yeah, I for some reason like
I was kind of thinking that they took the capital off of Coruscant pretty quickly because it was
in Empire space.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the Imperials are. I don't know if they still controlled Coruscant, but it had been like too embedded with Imperial like spy stuff and like their networks. It's like their problems that they had using the Emperor's Palace as their head of government. It's like, that's a bad spot because he has all these countermeasures.
Yeah.
And then Mara Jade like brings all those to light, and they're like, what? Oh shit, secret passages?
Yeah.
It's like, but you would expect that shit from Palpatine.
Yeah, I remember that bit was, I thought that bit was pretty amusing and shit.
It's like the First Order and the Resistance are both smaller groups than what it seems like. Like the Resistance is pretty much,
I mean,
it's Leia's personal army that she hired, and like her loyal supporters are still alive. And Akbar had a lot of his own doing to bring it in, because a lot of the ships are
his
Calamarian.
Yeah, because it wasn't really explained that well in The Force Awakens, but yeah, like the Resistance is really just like a sort of renegade branch of the Republic, and
And the New Republic wouldn't acknowledge the threat of the First Order. They're just
Yeah.
like, oh, they're just some small renegade terrorist group of the Empire faction.
yeah,
And they didn't realize it was being led by a Sith Lord,
yeah.
which I'm assuming is what Snoke is, because
I mean,
it's kind of cool that they killed him, but it's like, and I've heard theories about how Kylo Ren just had him as kind of like a puppet to
Mhm.
be the figure of the First Order, so he wouldn't be the one up there,
right.
and that he just used Snoke as kind of like a decoy
You know,
to get Rey to come out or something. And it's like it just always has seemed like Rey knows more than she lets on, but they don't acknowledge that ever, and you don't
that's
figure anything out
Yeah.
about it. And it's like, what does she know though that she's not telling everybody? It's like there's something more with her parents, and it's the stuff that she told, that Kylo Ren told her, that they're like drunks and stuff and
Mhm.
left her. It's totally not true. He's just saying that to fuck with her.
Yeah.
And
'Cause
it's like she knows who her parents are, but it hasn't shown that yet.
Like, I remember Rian Johnson saying that the issue wasn't settled. And that's one thing that, if that was true, that would be a cool twist, but at the same time, it does devalue Force Awakens. The entire movie builds that up, right? Now, the Snoke thing, I don't really mind that they didn't go into his backstory, because some things, like, they never go into what happened to Malik and Revan, and that's really cool.
They do.
They do? Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
no, they actually find the first Sith Emperor, and he's a human out in deep space.
No.
And he's the one that they found, that they went to go find him and they were gonna destroy him. But he has, Darth Nihilus, the guy who would just suck people. He could just kill people using the Force and like absorb their souls and shit.
Yeah.
The Emperor taught him how to do that, and it's like the Sith Emperor is the one who he came to power by, he absorbed all the souls of everyone on his planet all at the same time. And he killed everybody on the planet, and it's like his planet, Revan and Malik both visited. It's like they have droids that keep the place tidy and stuff. The whole world is like perfectly normal, like it's just there, but everyone's gone. It's just a ghost town. They're all dead.
So essentially, Star Wars and Mortal Kombat take place in the same universe.
They could.
It was.
I swear I saw E.T. in the first one too.
E.T. really?
Yeah.
Oh, he might have been just a puppet, like because kind of like how the guys who worked on Predator 2, the reason why there's an alien skull is because they also worked on the Aliens movie, so they might have been the same crew that did that as an Easter egg.
Well, like in Maz's what the fuck is it? It's like a club or whatever, or I heard like dance club. I swear there's a table that has a bunch of like ET aliens sitting at it, and it just shows them like really quick and then like goes off.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised though. Does Disney own E.T.? Was that part of Lucas film, or was that made by another company?
Spielberg.
Yeah, Spielberg. He did.
He's done stuff with Disney. Indiana Jones is
Yeah,
Disney.
that was LucasArts. And it was DreamWorks wasn't around back when E.T. came out, because that's the studio he runs, isn't it?
I think so.
Did that come later?
Yeah, I can't remember. I
This-
swear I saw that. It might have been a different movie that I saw the ET alien. No, maybe that was Guardians of the Galaxy. I saw the ET aliens.
I know Howard the Duck is in both the Guardians of the Galaxy movies.
Really?
Yeah, he's apparently a Marvel character, which is a weird thing, knowing that I grew up watching that really fucking weird movie.
Yeah, I remember that
Maybe
movie.
it was like,
I don't remember it, but I remember watching it and being like, this movie's kind of scary and weird.
fucking, like when they're making comic book movies, what drove them, like, hey, it'd be a good idea for a movie, Howard the Duck. Like, instead of fucking The Punisher, which did come out like after that, which is a more straightforward thing. They made that like 3 fucking times. No, we're gonna go with Howard the Duck. Like, who was behind that? I almost want to say Lucasfilm was behind Howard the Duck. It's all connected. I hope I'm wrong, 'Cause I know they were behind a couple of weird movies back in the 80s. I like Willow quite a bit.
Yeah, Willow is fucking awesome.
I almost want, for some reason, when I think of Howard the Duck, George Lucas's name comes up. I don't know why.
Yeah, it could have been. Because I was under the impression, too, that Howard the Duck was in the Star Wars universe.
Well, now he could be. They could just fucking put
Which
Marvel
would
in
be dumb,
Star
that's how I could also just, like, negate it. Like, if they do the Star Trek merger, it's like, it wouldn't make sense because
No,
they're, like, talking about, like, connecting Star Wars and Star Trek into the same universe.
They
It's like,
better
it
not.
wouldn't work because there's science in Star Trek,
There
and
is,
it's
yeah,
like it's supposed to be more like a realistic voyage of it. Like, oh, this is what would happen if humans from Earth went out in space, and it's like the Star Wars galaxy is like fucking so far away they wouldn't be able to get there.
And they're completely different. I know that in the movies.
And magic exists in the Star Wars universe, and it doesn't exist in Star Trek. There's no magic. It's all technology.
You're gonna have fucking Q inventing the Force in Star Wars. That's how they're gonna connect them. Like that would piss me off. Like unless it went to like an alternate dimension. Like I don't know. That wouldn't be canon anyway. But
it just wouldn't work. And then it's like scientifically, the Star Trek vehicles can kick the Star Wars vehicles' asses because their technology is better. They don't use lasers in Star Trek because they have better technology.
Yeah, they just use like bullets.
And their shields,
and they
like,
explain it too.
Lasers wouldn't do anything to their tech, so it's like the Enterprise could like destroy every ship in the Star Wars galaxy.
You couldn't have Poe doing his strafe run on the fucking.
Yeah, they would just be like, oh man, that ship's freaking slow, and they would just use their warp drive to like teleport around them, and then just.
Oh, that reminds me.
Or they could teleport to the bridge of the Death Star and be like, "Give up, or we'll vaporize you."
They can teleport individual people to places, which I don't think they've shown in Star Wars quite yet. But that does remind me.
No one's been able to do that in Star Wars ever because it's not a thing. They don't have portals and shit.
That reminds me though. What do you think of Holdo's ability? Like that's I thought it was cool in the movie, but now thinking about it, like I remember texting you right after I saw that. Why didn't you do that before? But why wouldn't they have done that with fucking everything before? Like putting like unmanned warp vehicles just destroying Star Destroyers. Why wouldn't they?
I think they were trying to be efficient and see if they could make it because they're heading for that planet.
Yeah.
And I think they're counting on allies to back them up, but they would have gone away with their plan, or they would have gotten away with their plan. They were just gonna sneak over, but it was because of Poe's agreeing to let Finn and Rose go off and do their plan. And since they found that hacker guy, like their mission failed, but they also, since they brought that guy to the First Order, he ratted on him, so he wouldn't get killed.
How did he know that the shuttles were closed? Because Finn and Poe and Rose didn't know that they were closed. That was part of the reveal when he was heading out with Leia. That they're closed. That makes everything okay. How did Benicio del Toro know that they were closed?
I thought they talked to him.
No, the only ones that talked to him was Finn and Rose. They were in the middle.
No, he pulled that from Rey.
Del Toro did? How did Rey?
No, Kylo Ren pulled that from Rey.
How would she?
Yeah, so Rey would have been there anyway.
Yeah, how would she have known if they were closed?
Because she's a Jedi.
Kinda.
She would have known what they were doing because she could feel them like moving off.
But Kylo Ren would have known what they were doing.
Yeah, that's true too, and he would have been able to sense Leia right off the bat.
Yeah, that she was still alive. So
I think it might just be inconsistency and not thinking about all that shit. Because there's like a lot of different things too. It's like
that they just made. They'll probably know that they're close because that was right after Leia told Poe that they were being close, so that naturally, without thinking, like
Or he's a hacker and a tech guy. He could have just sliced the information.
Yeah, but he was already captured by that point. He was slicing on. The way he was slicing on was the.
They contacted Poe though.
They did, yeah, they did. But that was still in the middle of the coup attempt, wasn't it?
Yeah, he could have sliced into their like systems from their ship.
Yeah, I just don't think that. I'm just not seeing.
I need to watch it again too to see like little things, but yeah, there's just It's like, is Phasma dead? I kind of don't think she's dead.
Why'd they even bring her back just to die again, right?
Yeah, and it's like, all she did was fall into fire, but it's like she's wearing fucking armor, it's fireproof.
And she was throwing a trash compactor on Starkiller Base that was blowing up, so I mean, is she gonna be just like a recurring...
It's like, when she
fucking
comes
thing?
back all burned up and shit, her face is just like, well, I'm gonna kill you, now I have to wear this.
I mean, and if you think about it, like, they kind of set it up for her to be a way for Finn and Rose to escape, but the reason they escaped was because Pogo blew them up, and BB-8 did that, so they didn't really need...
And what happened to evil BB-8? I wanted his character to do more, like them getting into a droid battle with each other. That would have been sweet. Because that happens in the old Clone Wars TV show.
Shit.
R2-D2 gets into a battle with an evil R2 unit.
R2-D2.
And they're like sitting there shocking each other with their little shock arms. And then R2, I think, eventually pushes him off an edge. And it's like, whoa, shit, that was evil.
The BB-8 and the evil BB-8 would be ramming each other at full speed in their fucking... like fucking Marvel Madness or some shit. Oh, good lord.
Crossfire.
That would be entertaining, though. That should have been how they escaped. Like, all of a sudden, they BB-8 for some reason and capture BB-8.
No!
And then he rams into the thing and it blows up, but it turns out he just blew up the evil droid. And he's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine.
Oh, he stole a shuttle for us. It kind of makes me think this new trilogy that's released is going to extend off of this, because they now just set it up to become like starting over the trilogy from scratch, and it's like, but why did they do that?
They could have just continued anyway.
And it's like, and like you were saying earlier, it does kind of like make their whole point of doing all that stuff completely worthless and pointless.
Yeah.
And it's like, the Empire will always reign.
Yeah, I mean, they could have had the Republic. I just will repeat the first, like the Phantom Menace to the third, but they could have had the Republic have issues, and all of a sudden evil, like, not the Empire, because I mean the first Order was like, we're the Empire, they wear Empire stuff. I get it, it's for consistency and how they present. Disney's got to present their Star Wars as Star Wars, right? But it does just sort of like completely devalue it. And I understand that
Luke's character too. Luke in Return of the Jedi, he wasn't afraid of the Emperor, and he wasn't afraid of Darth Vader, and he knew he could have died. Him being afraid of Kylo Ren is just like unacceptable, kind of, because why was he afraid, and when did his character ever have that fear of the Force? Like, he never had that fear. No. He had that. He's like, I need to know more, but who's gonna teach me? Everybody's dead. He
stared down the two most powerful Sith Lords. Well, I guess two of the most powerful Sith Lords in the fucking Star Wars series and composure, and he sees Kylo Ren sleeping. He's like, oh, he's been touched by the dark side. Oh my god.
It's like, does that mean Kylo Ren's even more evil than the Emperor and Darth Vader combined, and like filled with the dark side like that? It's like,
I don't see it in how he's portrayed in these ones that he's as evil, because he did kill Han Solo, but I mean, so
he's got an agenda too, which I like that he's got that, and it's like, oh, he's working for something. It's like, but what is he? And it's like,
I think that would have saved the movie for me if because I like what he was saying at the end. If Rey would have joined him, that would have I would have been like, fuck yeah, that is an awesome twist, a version of
and then it would have gone off differently. And it's like,
instead it's just Return of the Jedi, and it's like 20 minutes of Empire Strikes Back at the end.
And it's like, he was so like, no, I guess he wasn't reserved because he smashes his helmet into pieces, like with anger and stuff. But it's like, what is his purpose with the First Order, and what is the First Order's goal? It's like, it's like, oh, we're doing this to like cause fear, but it's like the Empire's agenda was different too. It was to bring order into the galaxy. Palpatine was just a corrupt politician on the side too, and wanted money, and he like got off of being in control of it because he's a micromanager. But at the same time, the Empire did have order. They kept everyone in check. They kept pirates out because they were also ruthless against like actual villains and scoundrels and stuff. And they had to put off a lot of Imperial like crewmen and like actual Imperials thought what they were doing was honorable, and like Imperial stormtroopers they're Imperial troops, but they're serving the Empire because they believed in it, and they were going into planets ravaged by raiders and pirates and slavers and stuff, and killing them, building a base, setting up and protecting the people that lived there, and like bringing commerce to worlds that didn't have it before.
They were just like sort of like on the D&D scale, lawful evils. That's pretty much what they were, right? Unless I'm getting D&D wrong, because
their leadership was evil because they still had the Senate there, and it's like Palpatine still had to show up to like representatives that weren't evil. Like Bail Organa was still a senator who was like, they're still the spokesman for all the planets. He didn't control everyone and all the planets, and he had to keep them appeased because he didn't need a rebellion from all of them. So he had to keep the galaxy from rebelling, which I guess is why they're building the Death Stars, so he can just be like, well, here's a reason.
Yeah, it's basically an allegory for nuclear weapons. The rebellion can never keep up, so to speak. So here's our nuke. It's like nuking, I guess, the Zulu tribe or something.
It's like, are we really so bad though? You had those monsters that were coming in and eating your people before. Now you have a nice wall with turbo lasers and a garrison of stormtroopers.
Yeah,
you have to pay taxes, but you get defense.
There was like minor hints at the First Order in the first, like that's why I think J.J. Abrams has a better idea of what he's doing than Johnson, but because there's minor hints, like when they steal kids and grow, like, so I wonder if it was just like a Attila the Hun allegory, but all that's thrown away when Kylo Ren becomes their leader, because what's his motivation to lead them, right? And it makes sense that Hux became the leader. They
did go in, well, he wanted to be the leader. He's like, fuck you, this is my army. And then Kylo Ren pretty much just takes it by force.
Is Kylo Ren just taking over because he wants to kill him so bad? Is that what's going on? Because
but he didn't kill his mom either. He took his hands off the trigger and closed it, and his two wingmen are the ones that fired the missiles at the bridge. I don't think a lot of people caught that because she said something to him.
He's about ready, and when they blow it up, he gets a star look in his face, and then he flies off back because he didn't want to witness it. Which would have been a great moment if they actually did kill Leia in that part.
And that part too, that happens in one of Thrawn's books where Luke sends himself out into open space.
Yeah. That's
and he uses the Force to put himself in the coma, and then Mara has to catch him with the tractor beam.
I remember that was the second one, wasn't it? Or is that the first one?
I think it's the first one. It's before they go and find that. It's before they find Thrawn's people in the Hand of Thrawn, and find. Baron Fell is awesome too, because he's in a lot of the Rogue Squadron books. Mm-hmm. The guy with one eye, and he's the clone of all the pilots, or Thrawn cloned him for all the pilots. Yeah. All the Imperial clone pilots were Baron Fell, and he's like the best Imperial pilot ever.
When did the second book came out? Because that's when I started dealing with clones, right? Did that come out before the Phantom Menace?
Yeah, no, it totally did.
So did Zahn establish that the clones were like
No, the Clone Wars were mentioned in A New Hope.
Yeah,
Obi-Wan said he fought in the Clone Wars.
They didn't mention what the clones were. I just want to I'm just curious about when they established that the clones were stormtroopers and the like. So that wasn't mentioned until. That's what I'm kind of curious about, if it was Zahn who invented that, or if it was mentioned in another EU thing.
I think he took the actual Clone Wars and like made that more of a thing. Well, because they mention the Clone Wars in the first trilogy, but they don't say like what it was.
Yeah.
And then like the Clone Wars with the clone troopers, they took that, but God, Thrawn was the first person.
I think that's implied that the cloning vats were the same as the ones the Emperor used. So, yeah. Well, what? I can't really think of much else to talk about the Last Jedi. Just that I do not like. Okay, another big aspect that they kind of make it out like seem like Poe fucked up in the beginning, but he's the only one who fucking had a victory in it. His what he did saved cost less people than what Holdo and Leia does. So, and he was able to take out a dreadnought of fucking apparently 200,000 First Order. So that was a kind of.
But he also completely, they didn't have like the resources to do that, and they could have just run away.
But they couldn't have run away.
Yeah, they didn't know about the hyperspace thing. But they lost their whole bombing wing, so they didn't have any means of offensively attacking them unless they wanted to waste one of their ships.
Which they ended up doing. They ended up losing all their ships, and they only had, there's only 12 of them left after that. After that,
I don't think they could transfer people because the fighters were still in range to attack them, and they held their fighters off on purpose just because they wanted. Like the First Order could have finished them at any time, but they were doing that as like a point to like make them feel terrified before they were destroyed.
Yeah.
But that's why like Kylo Ren came out, and it's like he could easily come out and kill them all, but they called him back so he couldn't do that. It's like, oh man.
Yeah, like I don't know. I still think that
he destroyed all their ships too.
Yeah.
Like he blew up the hangar for the big ship, so they couldn't transfer ships really.
I just don't get the punishment for Poe for that. Sure, you lost some people, but at the same time, like they didn't lose. Like they lost their bombers, but how are they going to use them?
That's a lot of people though.
Like what? Like 100 versus 200,000.
I think they have more dreadnoughts though too, so
Yeah.
it's just like he wasted their few resources to take out something that's just gonna be replaced.
But they still wouldn't have been like they wouldn't have been able to take out any more dreadnoughts with the current armaments they have. That seemed like a good.
But they could have waited and held off and not lost as many of their people, and then when they, because they're gonna get allies, you know, that's what the next one's gonna be. A bunch of people are gonna be like, we'll help you, and it's gonna be like weird aliens and shit.
I guess, but like they could have came at the end of the Last Jedi. No one did, and there's only 10 of them left because Rose got everybody else killed.
I was half expecting the Chiss Ascendancy to show up just at the last moment. It's like, who the fuck are these people? They look like Imperials with Imperial technology, but they're not.
That's how they could have gotten the Star Trek crossover to work. Fucking new Captain Kirk warps in and blows up all that.
My God, what is going on here?
Or could you know, since William Shatner's still alive, you're right. It could have just been William Shatner manning the new Enterprise, and it only needs one person, one joystick, and he would have one fucking photon torpedo. Goodbye, ground forces. Kylo Ren.
They could have him play Sabath.
You see him getting ripped at his Legend 90?
Yeah, he's pretty ripped. So they could have fake muscles.
They said that there was always that rumor that Ricardo Montalban had fake muscles, but it was also said that his back was fucked up, so he had to build up a lot of strength in order just to function. So he is exactly how I would have pictured Sabath, him and Wrath of Khan, because of how fucking ripped he is.
Or I could have seen him as Bella Bliss too.
Yeah.
Like you've seen Bella Bliss and the comics and stuff, and what he looks like in Empire at War. He's just got long gray hair and a huge mustache.
They should have just fucking made, like, I don't know.
I want him to bring like dreadnoughts into it too. It's like, or they could have been like, oh shit, what's all these ships? It's like, oh, it's a Katana fleet. Dun, 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 at the end.
Yeah, that would just been the end.
It's like, what? It's like they're automated firing on the First Order because they're using a weird signature that the Katana fleet knows is evil.
The First Order just outputs evil vibes.
Or they're programmed to go against Palpatine or something. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, the Katana fleet was made to stand up against Palpatine's thing, which isn't like really what happened because they were lost before the Clone Wars even happened.
Yeah.
It's like dreadnoughts were cool looking. They're just a turbo laser platform.
Shit.
Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking like something would happen. I think Rey and Chewie's story was like the better one that I liked paying attention to.
I wish they'd give Rey more to do because it felt like she wasn't doing a whole lot because it was Kylo Ren's character was leading the whole time that story, and Mark Hamill. Like Mark Hamill did a good job, but at the same time, like Luke was weird in the fucking movie. And
he was weird, but it was out of character.
Yeah.
And Mark Hamill thinks he was very out of character too, and he's like, I don't know who the fuck I was playing. It's like he like had a completely different mentality.
And there was a rumor that because back in the day that when they first screened Empire Strikes Back, the line that only like Mark Hamill, George Lucas, and James Earl Jones knew the truth, I believe.
Yeah, about Darth Vader being his dad. He's like, what?
I think there was a rumor going around that Mark Hamill didn't know that he dies at the end of The Last Jedi because
yeah,
because there was a video showing him at the end of the like worldwide premiere of The Last Jedi, just the look of absolute like defeat on his face, like what the fuck did I just see? That would be way more cruel though. That's not a fun twist. That's a bad twist, you guys. That's not good.
But it's like he can come back though too, because it's like when Yoda comes back, he comes back, but he's in the physical real world. Like he had physical power to like cast lightning and stuff, and he looked more real. And it's like, is that like what happens when you have immortality? It's like, can you manifest yourself again?
That's weird too. Did Ryan Johnson ever watch Star Wars? Is the question.
Did he read any of the books where they explain all this stuff?
Did he play? I know he didn't. Maybe these guys never. J.J. Abrams probably did. You know, J.J. Abrams is a fan of Star Wars. You can tell. But I mean, maybe
he references a bunch of the extended universe shit in his books.
You can say maybe
in his movie.
Maybe too much, but at the same time, like I get. J.J. Abrams seems to care, so I don't know, because The Last Jedi feels like the final movie in this trilogy, even though it's the second.
Yeah, and it's
so
like,
well, what's J.J. gonna do in the third one?
Is he doing the third one?
Yeah, he's doing the third one. Like Ryan Johnson gave him nothing to work with.
I thought Ryan Johnson was doing the next two.
He's gonna do the next trilogy, apparently. So, no, J.J.'s coming back for the third one because I think there was originally going to be somebody else who dropped out.
But he's got to fix it.
I mean, because, yeah, he ignored everything that JJ set up. Like, so JJ probably is going to, like, come out with Rey as the daughter of, I don't know, the Force, kind of like, you know, Anakin Skywalker.
Or she's a relative of Obi-Wan.
Yeah. Because
I noticed this, too. Out of all the Force people, she, has the same accent that he does.
Yeah. The Ewan McGregor accent.
And it's like her like she's rational too. She has like a lot of his attributes.
Do you think whatever the next one's gonna be called is gonna end like a Star Wars 3 where she chops down Kylo Ren and he finally gets to become Lord Vader like he always would? The fucking robot for the next trilogy.
But it's like even Darth Vader in Return of the Jedi, he started to have his pull of like turning back to the light side.
Yeah.
And he does turn to the light side. Darth Vader is the one who kills the Emperor, not Luke.
Yeah.
Which is kind of consistent with the extended universe because nobody really knows that Darth Vader killed the Emperor. Everyone just thinks Luke did.
Yeah, like Mara did when he killed Luke
like
the
a
entire
hero.
time, and he kept telling him, "No, it's Darth Vader," and you fucking
Darth
lied.
Vader, I just want to go save my dad. And she's like, who are you talking about? It's like, Vader's my dad. She's like, wait a minute. Wait. Vader killed the Emperor, and that's your dad. And she like didn't put together that when he was talking about going to save his dad, he was talking about Vader. He's like, I was laying on the ground getting shocked really bad. I almost died.
Because if you think about, like, no one would know that Darth Vader killed the Emperor. They would assume that the one who made it out did, the Last Jedi. Because he was the Last Jedi.
Only, like, the top officers, like General Nadine, Akbar, Mon Mothma, they all knew.
Yeah.
Because Luke told them, but they're just like, don't go around telling people that.
No,
that's going to lessen our cause. That Sith Lord just magically turned it down.
Yeah.
It's like that would go against everything
like
that we worked for.
Our greatest fucking like villain is the one who saved us in the end. Oh shit. So
and Force Ghost in the first book in the Thrawn trilogy, Luke loses his connection with Obi-Wan because Obi-Wan's Force Ghost dissipates into the universe.
So how did Yoda stay so
And Yoda, that happens later because he does see them later. And Anakin only appears to Leia with his dying like thing. He tries to talk to Leia, and Leia's just like, "Get the fuck out of my room!" And he's like, "I just wanted to say I was sorry. I know you're not gonna accept it, but I just wanted you to hear it and know that I wanted to like come and tell you that I feel terrible for all the people who care." She's like, "It's not gonna bring him back," and she's really nasty to him. And then she tells Luke that. She's like, "Oh God, her dad was just here talking to me," and he's like, "What? He never appeared to me. I wanted to ask him so many things."
You know, it was rumored that Hayden Christensen was cut from The Last Jedi because apparently he was on set, so they were thinking that he was going to appear to Rey as a Force ghost, but they cut that scene. Or they just didn't film it, or he just appeared on the set because, you know, why the fuck not?
I heard that they're gonna have him come in as like, he's gonna be a Force ghost, but he's gonna be like more shrouded, and he is supposed to kind of like in the shadows, like is gonna be in a limited light area, and in the shadows he's gonna kind of switch from Vader to Anakin, and kind of like, since he was the strongest Force one, but he went so far to the dark side and was also like on the light side, he's kind of like stuck in both aspects of the Force, and he's like tormented kind of by it, and like is like kind of like a tortured Force ghost because he was on the dark side, whereas Obi-Wan and Yoda and Qui-Gon, they're all light side the whole time. They didn't fall to the dark side, which would have been way sweeter if they would have had that like in The Last Jedi. And it's like, oh yeah, it's like, then that would like make sense too, because he could talk to Kylo Ren and Rey and be like
the devil on a shoulder for each of them.
But he would be what's that called, like he'd be like conflicted in his advice because he'd have both aspects very strongly, so he wouldn't be able to control that. And then since he's a ghost, he's not in full control of himself anymore.
No, you shouldn't kill her, Kylo. Kill him, Rey. Shit, like
or he could just be like super cryptic, like Kriya. Kriya is really cryptic, and she is on the dark side, and she's the one who trained Revan. She's Revan's master.
Well, is that how they went with it? Okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's kind of hinted at. Yeah. I think there was a mod that fleshed some of that stuff out.
I didn't know that, what's his face? The first guy that you find, the scoundrel, he's a Sith.
Really?
Yeah. You can, I've been playing as him, and his secret that he's hiding.
Uh-huh.
I just unlocked it. He was a Jedi.
Yeah.
He was a Jedi.
He was.
And then he went to go fight with Revan on Malachor 5. And
what is his name? Atom or whatever?
Yeah, Adam. He turned to the dark side.
Dark side, yeah.
And he was actually a Sith Jedi hunter, and he went around killing Jedis. And that was his job. And he's the one who brought that HK droid to the station there and tried to kill them all.
Yeah.
And it was like him working it all along, and Kriya found that out. I even think he might have known Kriya, or she taught him to. Or no, she didn't, because she didn't know what he was hiding. She probes his mind for it. It's like, oh boy. But he falls in love with the exile. The exile's got a name too. Mitra Surik.
See, that's weird because I played.
She's in the Old Republic too. She's the Force ghost that's guarding Revan's body, because he's held in stasis by the Emperor, the Sith Emperor, for like thousands of years. And then when he gets released, he builds an army of HK droids to like kill everybody. He's like both sides of the Force are evil.
They should have just did Old Republic stuff. That's a lot of that stuff's fucking cool.
I have a book about when Revan goes to the Emperor though with the Exile. They team up to take him down. Let you read that.
So the Exile survives the end of Coco too?
Yeah.
Okay.
They defeat Kriya, and like I don't think she's... Revan isn't a Jedi, he's not in the Order anymore. He leaves and just kind of becomes, like, he still, like, has his Jedi stuff, but he rejoins the Order. Oh, it's like one of them that's not, like, actually in it. I think... Or no, this book takes place... Revan's off wandering looking for the Emperor while Mitra Surik is going on her journey in the Sith Lords too, so that's going on at the same time. Revan and Mandalore, it takes place before that because Canderous goes with Revan out to find the mask of Mandalore that Canderous wears, like when he claims it, because Revan's the one who killed Mandalore and hid the mask. So he takes Canderous out with Canderous's tribe, which includes Canderous's wife, who was the tribe leader after Canderous left because he, like, I think he, like, got disowned or something, and they kicked him out of the tribe, and he left them for dead, and they're like, you abandoned us, and I took over. But they go to find the mask of Mandalore, and then he comes back and, like, they're like, I wonder where Revan is, and it's like he totally knows where Revan is because he is with them, but it, like, ties in really good with that and, like, hints about their stuff. That book's pretty sweet too, and it talks about the Sith as a race. They're kind of, I say they look like Darth Maul, but they're not Zabraks.
They were in the original Knights of the Republic, weren't they?
No, the Sith race is, they're like red. They don't really have hair.
Don't they have, like, horns or something?
They do have horns. They have horns on their chin. They're like tendrils on their. They have tendrils on their chin.
Because you go to the Sith homeworld
and red.
In both Knights of the Republic games, don't you? At least I know you do in the second one.
It's a different place.
It is a different
No,
place?
it's in deep space further out, like in the unknown regions.
So that was just, what was that joint that you went to in those games then? What was that planet?
It is a place that had that device that could build ships
like
out of nothing. Yeah, it could build ships out of nothing though, and the Emperor, when Malik and Revan went to go see the Sith Emperor, he immediately pretty much turned them to the dark side. They still had control of themselves though. They were like on the dark side and it made them extremely ruthless. But the reason they built up their armies again and were starting to go and, like, get people to join them or die is because they're building up their forces to become stronger than the Emperor. And with a ruthless force, they would be able to go against the Emperor, and they were going to use his own gift of the shipbuilding thing against him. But it backfired because the good Jedi stood up against them. They took Revan and changed him again to the light side, and it's like kind of like Thrawn's agenda, like trying to get them galactically together, but they're corrupted by the dark side, so they're ruthless about going about it, and, like, if you didn't join them, they just killed you. But the Emperor was extremely ruthless, and it's weird how his set of nobles is set up. Like, he just, like, he ruthlessly kills people and he enjoys it and has no value of life at all. He just consumes souls and wants, like, a source of souls to consume. It's like, holy shit.
He's fucking
and it doesn't show him. It, like, you don't know what he is. He's just like a hooded figure of just black. He was a human once.
He is literally Shang Tsung, that's what you're telling me.
He's worse than him though. He's like a ring wraith, like a Nazgul. Or like Sauron, like more in that way. But he has a physical body and he's just, like, super powerful.
He is Shinnok.
It's like he would not. He just sounds awesome too. But I think you fight him in the Old Republic.
I've tried playing the Old Republic, but it's still very MMO. So I haven't gotten. I've only done, like, a portion of the Bounty Hunter and the Commando, but I'm kind of stuck in both of them because I tried picking up like 5 months ago, and all the mobs were attacking me on sight when I was like the bounty hunter. So I was like, I can't. You're not giving me a chance to play this fucking game. Cause I think I pissed off Java because I played like back in fucking 2012. So it was like I picked up Lost Odyssey maybe almost like 7 years after initially playing. I was able to do that, but I guess it's just because I want to know what happens in the Old Republic without going on like reading about it, or I want to experience it, right? But it's just not happening.
Yeah. I like Star Wars Galaxies except for just like I wanted to play it more when they reformed it, and God, just playing with Bailey about it, they're just like, you have to do this specific build, you have to join this guild, and it's like, you guys are taking the fun out of it because you're being technical. It's like, well, you're not gonna have a good build for your character because you're only gonna do like 20,000 damage at your max level instead of, if you're a rifleman, you'll be able to one-shot kill level 50s, and it's like, I don't give a shit about that. It's like, I want to explore the fucking Star Wars world. Fly around in my spaceship with the speeder you gave me. I want to go harvest some bones off of that motherfucker. I'm gonna go look for shit. It's like, I don't care about this stupid guild.
They just want to police what you're doing, man, so you can...
I want to go play my weird horn thing that I bought, and I'd like do that all the time because it's fun just to go into the cantina and like just start playing your instrument to buff people.
So you're just hanging out, I can't see this. So we gotta go raid, and it's like, no, I'm not playing my.
It's like, yeah, come listen to my music. I'll give you plus 12 to strength. I'm only at level 2. Oh shit! Is like the coolest part of that. There's this one day where we went to the cantina, and it was a bunch of Jedis there and stuff, just kind of hanging out randomly with their friend groups, because Jedis took literally 6 months to get, like going through the trials and like grinding up the experience. It's like game time. It took you forever to become a Jedi, but they didn't want a million Jedis running around in the galaxy. They were kind of rare. And it's like, there's this, you would go to a city and it's like, oh, there's only 3 Jedis here. It's like, damn. But it's like this one time, is like 3 Jedis just standing there, and they're like high level, like people had got them and like been them for a while. And then like a bunch of these guys just showed up in the cantina on the dark side with like double lightsabers and shit. And they just become Sith, like just finished their training and like all lightsabers, and like just came in and immediately aggroed the Jedi and antagonized them and started a battle right in the cantina in the middle of everybody, and everybody's like, oh shit! And we had to run away because we were aligned with the Empire, and it like became like a big battle where you had to like get out of the radius or you would get caught in the fray. But it was totally awesome.
The bar brawl became the bar battle of like 26, 28.
This is fucking awesome though. I think the party group they're in, I think Bailey was controlling it, and he's gonna like make us like join it just for fun. And it's like, no, I wanna do that. If you die, you lose all your shit.
Jesus.
It's like you get really horribly penalized if you die. But it's like, we just watched it and it was awesome. And the Jedi just like got up and killed them like pretty quickly, and then one guy ran away. And it's like, oh shit, that was sweet. Alright, let's get back to playing. And the Jedi went back to what they were doing after that. It's like, cool.
That's a problem with MMOs, because it is dependent on others, but you get a lot of complaints about that. That's why I like Counter-Strike, because
yeah, it's just like, you're not good with snipers.
Yeah, it's like, so no one's good with snipers.
You have to get this reticle, and they like do them in a specific way. It's like, oh, in this map you have to go to this location, you have to use this specific gun, and you wait at this choke point. And it's like, that takes fun out of it because it means that this is all like queued out, like you plan it. It's not free forming. You're not like you're not having fun. You're being too technical. You're taking away the fun.
You gotta free form. And I only play Counter-Strike off the office map whenever I play Counter-Strike, so I just go guns blazing half the time. either I die instantly or I kill a bunch of people and then die.
I want to play Wildlands co-op online. That'd be fun as shit. That game is fucking awesome. You have to get that. And now you can fight Predator in it. This is one of the expansions.
I heard about they had Predator too. to it.
And apparently he's super duper hard. It's like, well, shit, he would be.
Well, yeah, if they're gonna, I mean...
I just unlocked the Scarface gun though. I like went all over the world just unlocking the guns. Like, whoa, this is the hardest level of area that I could possibly go in. Where's the M203 grenade launcher? There it is. Woo. I need the M4. Where is it? Oh, this place is hard. It's such a common weapon, but I need this specific combination. So I have the Tony Montana version of it, and I don't even use like all the scopes and all the extra shit they have for all the guns. It's like just straight up standard sights with the grenade launcher,
So
and then a Colt 45 with no sights or extended
you
things.
play it like the beginning of the movie Predator.
Pretty much. It's like you can do all the stealth stuff, which is like necessary in a lot of missions, but it's like that's what your teammates are for. You do the sync shot shit and just set it up. It's like, oh, there's 10 guys in this outpost. Well, these 3 can get killed really quick by my sniper guys, and then after they die, before these guys move into position and see the dead bodies, it'll have recharged again. I can kill them, and you can take out outposts just silently with your guys doing a sync shot, and then you go in afterwards, and it's like awesome. And it reminds me of Metal Gear Solid, but more action-packed, and you can actually survive the action-packed encounters and get away. Metal Gear Solid, it's like so fucking hard.
I've really just relied on hiding while having quiet kill everybody.
And then when she thins him out enough, I pop out.
Because there's that one where you get...
I can't kill them. It's like, oh man, these guys are good.
There's that one level where if you go up that fucking mountain blowing up those things, I always get an S rank on it because I sneak up and I have quiet kill everybody, and that gets them away, and I plant the charges and take off, and then I just go running.
God, and the helicopters, like, oh shit, helicopters. I just carry a rocket launcher. It's like, well, I have to take out the tanks. Or I don't even take out tanks. It's like, nope, I'm going to cloak up to the tank. I'm going to steal the tank to get out of the way. And then fight the helicopter and kill all the dudes. Mostly just capture all the dudes. Quiet, don't kill that guy. Snipe all these guys. I will go through and decide whether they should live or die.
I was doing that the other day on a thing where,
boom,
because I was just playing it a couple days ago, and then quiet, like without thinking, like I got spotted. She just fucking nailed this guy in the head. I was like, oh shit, I guess it's on now.
I was like, oh shit, I forgot to tell her to hold fire.
Yeah. Because he was like, oh, I was gonna trank him because I had a trank sniper rifle, and all of a sudden, like, I was like, oh, is he dead?
I have her use the gun that's not silenced too, because it's powerful and can penetrate helmets. Because I hate it when they wear helmets, and it's
they start wearing helmets because they keep shooting them in the face.
And it's like, oh, I keep forgetting that because it's so easy to shoot them in the face, and if you shoot them in the body, they don't die right away. It's like I have to get a headshot so I can quietly take them out.
I hate even using the shrink gun and shooting them in the body because they don't go down right away. I have to hit them in the face. And I have had where I've had the wrong fucking gun out and I popped them in the head and killed them.
You're like, oh damn, I didn't mean to bring the Magnum.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh, shotgun. It's like, oh yeah, I had to saw it off because I was trying to be Mad Max, but I wasn't really gonna use it. That's why I brought the shrink gun.
That is a Metal Gear experience. You duck yourself out and all this stuff. I was like, well, I'm just going to use the C4 and the Woo stun gun. I've got a rocket launcher, I've got a fucking AK-47, but I only use these 2 fucking things.
I updated the fuck out all my guns too. Just like got really into that too. It's like, oh, I need more resources so I can upgrade the AK to have a better silencer. Even if I am gonna kill him, it's like, oh, I'd scout out the area. It's like, oh, they're all D-level guys. We'll have fun this time. A silenced saw. Nothing better than a silenced heavy machine gun.
Alright, let's wrap up the Star Wars one, because I got a feeling we should be talking about something else in a second. How do you think Lando Calrissian is going to die in the next Star Wars movie?
He's not even in it.
Why the fuck isn't he in it? Billy D. Williams. He wants to be in. He's still alive. Do they just fucking forget the?
Someone said he's like not so with it, but it's like, dude, look at Mark Hamill. He's totally batshit insane. And like Harrison Ford like hates it. Carrie Fisher was doing cocaine really heavily, and that's why she died.
Yeah, that's why she died. And Admiral Akbar, he was in Force Awakens, and he died like 2 weeks later. So
He dies in The Last Jedi. He gets blown up.
People are mad that he's dead, but I'm thinking, well, I mean, yeah, but at the same time, the actor's dead, so you can't really have.
They should kill R2D2 too, then, because his actor's dead.
That's true, I guess. Well, what the fuck was R2D2 doing? He was in one scene in The Last Jedi. He says hi to Mark Hamill.
Which is funny, and then Luke's like, watch your mouth.
I just can't fucking wait for the next one for them to kill Lando Calrissian off screen for some reason.
He's
like.
I liked the first part of Battlefront 2's story, but then I read the spoiler for the second half because I heard it's really bad.
Oh yeah, that new part came out.
And I was like, oh, it's like lame.
Yeah.
It's like they're so like.
And they were just holding off on that just because they were waiting for Last Jedi to come out.
They just wanted promotional shit to get more money. And it's like, oh, and it doesn't even tie into the story at all.
No. I mean, not enough. Like again.
But it's like the first half ends so awesome. It's like. It's like people change, man. I mean, look at you used to be dead. And he just shoots him cold-heartedly, just like, and you hear him shoot him like several times. It's like bury his body.
I like Saving Private Ryan with Upham and the one German guy.
Yeah.
Like that's probably the one thing that's like the most about the Disney ones, because even though I know people hated the original, like the prequel trilogy, like there's a lot of fucking media around that. I know it was all just to sell stuff, but you had really good video games and all that. Nowadays you just have Battlefront. That's it, and crappy mobile games that they cancel after a fucking 1 year.
Like Uprising was awesome. It's like fucking grinding RPG. It's like you don't need to play with other people. You can if you want to, but it's like it took me literally 5 months. I was playing it. I got my last piece of Stormtrooper armor. I put it on for 1 day and they canceled it. It's like, what? They're canceling it in a month? Well, fuck this.
I tried so hard for 2 weeks up into the cancellation notice to just install that game because it was broken in how it installed. It's like, oh, we're canceling it.
Doesn't work on some phones.
It's like maybe that's why they couldn't get enough. They couldn't get enough working on enough phones for it to make money.
It's because nobody wanted to buy this shit though, because it's like, why buy this item that you can go grind and get in a couple hours? Like you could get all. It's like, yeah, you could spend money to buy that stuff, but it's like. You don't need to. It's like it would take away the fun of playing it, because like playing the game was fun and the combat system was fun, so it's like you wanted to grind.
They should have just sold that for like $10 on the marketplace and made it like Borderlands, you know, like maybe like Parties of 4 or whatever. Which I mean,
I hope they don't ruin Borderlands either. And so many people didn't like the pre-sequel. It's like the pre-sequel is awesome. They're like, all it added was space and lasers. It's like, who cares if it added more shit to it? It's like, really? From Borderlands 1 to Borderlands 2, they actually took out more of the game features from the first one to the second one. It's like, at least the prequel that added and didn't take anything away.
That's why I still feel like I'm a minority, but I like Borderlands 1 more. Again, a lot of it's for world building. They kind of throw that out the window. Borderlands 2, I think it was directed by a guy named Ryan Johnson. But
I like the first one and I like the prequel. I can't play Borderlands 2 because it's too hard. And it's like, oh, they took away all this shit from the first one. But then it's like the stuff that they added into the prequel one and like made it awesome. Like being able to grind weapons and come up with better loot. It's like, sweet.
Remember in the first one where you had that one, like, I can't remember what it was, that one, like, gun elemental where you shoot somebody in the head and their head expands.
Yeah.
And they completely took that out in the second one. The second one is really brutal, but it's nowhere near as brutal.
And the Iridian weapons were sweet.
It's just like, well,
the Atlas Corporation.
I guess this will wrap up this Star Wars discussion by talking about Borderlands. But I mean that's about all I have to say. I think I feel better about The Last Jedi. I don't know, like Empire Strikes Back is a dark movie, but it ends like not. I don't feel like defeated, right? It just ends on a.
No, they
sword
totally
fight.
get their asses handed to them in
Yeah,
Empire Strikes Back.
They do, but they they're Lando's drawing them. They're
That's
heading
that's
out.
when the Mon Calamarians join them too, because
Yeah.
that's the first time you see their fleet with the Mon Cal ships.
Yeah. So I mean, it wasn't. I mean,
It was a turning point, but it was like more. It was more of a like. Luke discovered all these things, and he
Yeah.
had a whole shitload of stuff to think about, and they lost one of their party members,
Yeah.
and it was up in the air whether he was going to return in the last one or not, because they were going to have it where he doesn't get killed, but then they did convince him to be in it.
Yeah. Why is it?
So
Why is,
Luke had to rescue.
why does Harrison Ford hate Han Solo so much?
I don't know. just to like. It's probably because it's all he gets noted for, and he's been in so many other movies where he's an awesome character.
I bet you more people know him for Indiana Jones than Han Solo, probably.
Or Jack Ryan. He plays Jack Ryan in like 3 or 4 movies.
Jack Ryan, yeah,
He's
Like,
badass.
yeah, I really liked those. I wish they continued making those.
Like Patriot Games.
Those
Clear
are,
and Present Danger.
they would never make a Tom Clancy movie anymore. So it's like
He's dead.
he's dead. Well, I mean, they still use his name on Wildlands, so,
Yeah.
and Rainbow Six Siege. So
Because
I
he
mean,
uses the ghost.
yeah. So I'm gonna. So that's how I guess that's how I feel about Last Jedi and everything in Star Wars.
All in all, I don't hate The Last Jedi, but it's like, if you like Star Wars, you would just kind of like negate anything Disney anyway and just go off of the expanded universe, because it was already established and approved by George Lucas first.
Right. I mean, it's like the Disney canon is the EU canon, if you think about it.
And also, Timothy Zahn is the one who kept Star Wars alive when George Lucas was just going to abandon it completely and Star Wars was going to die. He got the rights to write books. The Thrawn trilogy kicked off the expanded universe and kept it going, and nobody else would have done shit with it if he wouldn't have brought it back. He also is like, there's so much stuff taken by like Lucas and like other people from Zahn stuff. It's like,
I mean, think of all the
he
great.
should have bought the trilogy from George Lucas.
Yeah, Zahn. I bet you Zahn got probably like $20,000 combined for all the work he's done.
You should take his character back and be like, oh, I want you to delete Rebels and get rid of my character.
Yeah,
but he added that book that's Disney, so it's canon now.
Yeah, that and it feels like it's part of the. Disney's playing it loose. It feels like.
I think but it's like you can still see Thrawn going into a ruthless character from that, because it ends with like, well, I might have to do this.
It feels like a prequel to the EU books,
Yeah.
except it takes place in the Disney
With
universe.
different characters. And you still haven't read Outbound Flight, which
No.
is what it reminds me of a lot, because Eli Vanto is George Cardos, that guy that they have to go find.
Uh-huh. That's him?
Talon Card, like the guy Talon Card has to go find out on the edge of the galaxy.
Yeah.
In Outbound Flight, the main character of that is George Cardos when he's younger.
Yeah.
And it's him and his crew of his ship that are in the unknown regions, and they get stranded, and Thrawn's people save them from the Vagrai. And then they get kind of trapped with the Chiss, and it's when Thrawn is still a commander in the Chiss fleet before he gets exiled. And it's like kind of, it doesn't tell how he gets exiled, but you see like where he gets his tactics. And it's like he had to use his means, the means that he uses, because the Chiss don't fire first. But he would instigate things to get people to fire on him to get his way, and then he would totally pull into it. It also shows how he creates the interdictor cruiser later on, and that was totally of his design and creation. That pulling stuff out of hyperspace using that, which would have been sweet if they used that in the new stuff too. That was like a huge Imperial tactic, using the interdictor cruisers to spot on an entire fleet. It's like they would cloak the interdictor cruiser, or that would just pull up first, and then boom, and the cloaking shields.
Yeah, they just didn't use hardly anything they could have. It was like
They should have brought Thrawn back, but had Timothy Zahn there to be like one of the, what do you call those people that sits there and like mediates how their character goes with the director?
Consultant or whatever.
Yeah.
I get the feeling that they had no consultants on The Last Jedi.
Yeah, it seemed different. It's like I liked it as a movie, but like
I like
Rogue One. I think's the best.
Yeah, I really like Rogue One.
Rogue One's fucking awesome.
It's just I don't know. I need to see it again, but The Last Jedi. But I kind of don't want to because I get the feeling because a lot of stuff that happens at the end does devalue most of it. So I go and watch it and I get the feeling like I know what's gonna happen. Like the whole casino plan doesn't. They should just take that out.
Yeah.
The movie was
and
too
then they
long.
show the kid use the Force to get the broom at the end, and it's like, oh. We also had people talking through the whole movie
Oh,
when we
really?
went to go see it. There's like these guys that are stoned out of their mind behind us, and they're just like, oh, that kid just used the broom and the Force. And it's just like, dude, thank you for just talking out loud, but you see on the screen. It's like, shut up.
So you're fucking right.
And they're just like laughing too hard out loud, and it's like,
At what? There was nothing funny. I was sitting next to someone who was laughing the entire time, and I was like, what are you laughing at? This
the
is
only part
apparently
I thought
awkward.
was funny is when Luke was gonna go burn down the books.
I like
And
the,
like I like the Yoda scene. It just looked weird.
yeah, I like the bit. I like the bit where he's fucking with Rey with the thing. She's like, I can feel the Force. Like, oh, you can. I thought that was kind of cheesy and crazy.
It's
but,
like something Luke would have done though.
Yeah.
It's something Yoda would have done.
I like the look on his face because he was really sitting there like, oh, you can see it, even though it's
You
got
feel
eyes
that?
closed.
You feel that? That's the Force. It's like, oh, I can feel it. And it's like, oh, you meant like with my mind. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. No, that I think that finally does conclude our Last Jedi discussion after a couple false starts. So I'm definitely hitting stop now.